Click the links for Odysee, Bit Chute, join channel, become a valued member, sports channel on Coffee, subscribe, Star Crypto through the various links, join the Telegram, I just got it, or the Discord, though, as I said, it's a little bit of a free speech platform, so, be forewarned, it's not just the typical normie YouTube Discord where everything is censored. It's definitely not that. So here's the thing the only reason I'm doing this video is because there's so many other YouTubers, God, that feels cringe to say that out loud. There's so many other YouTubers who are involved in this thing. What I don't understand about this is Jeremy from the Quartering was trolling this chick, sort of. I don't mean trolling in a negative way. I mean, he was floating this criticism of the show, hoping that he would get a probing fire. He was probing fire, hoping that he would get return fire, and there would be a lot of attention drawn to him. He'd get more eyeballs on the channel, because like every response he's getting on Twitter directly is money to him for advertising dollars that people watch his YouTube channel, which is all well and good. He's playing the game and he's winning at that game of YouTube. It's his job. So the thing I don't understand is he's doing this probing fire with the Witcher people. I don't understand why she responded to his troll, his very mild milquetoast criticism of The Witcher. If the show is doing fine, and the reason I haven't seen The Witcher. Why would I? It's a Polish show with African people instead of Polish people. Why would I see that? Why on earth would I support that in any way, shape, or form? That's just more diverse. The Polish people are diverse all in and of themselves. They don't need any assistance from outside of at least Europe. Anyway, so they swapped out those characters, which she had a lot of bending over backwards to try to justify that. And people are looking at her Twitter response like, this was years ago. So like, you're just a crazy person who hates people of European descent. That's pretty well clear. As whenever they can find an opportunity to subvert and destroy something, they will take that opportunity. Anyway, so I can't understand why she responded to his probing fire. Because, there's kind of this feeling that, like, if you're in the mainstream Netflix or Hulu or whatever, you should be a little bit above it. It's like you don't want to see somebody who's writing for these shows respond to somebody who's on YouTube. Now, here's the thing that's kind of this weird new social media thing where shows are getting smaller, like Netflix and streaming shows. They don't quite have the same cultural impact that a movie would have had, or even a big like Sex and the City 20 or 30 years ago when it was on the air. It had a big impact because there were fewer options. Now there's a lot of streaming shows, and so like The Witcher might be well known to a certain segment of the population, but it's not like there's nothing is going to be as well known as a show was like 40 years ago, because there was just so much less competition for eyeballs 40 years ago. So it's like you look at Jeremy, he's got 1 million people on his YouTube channel. He's talking to a lot of people. He's disseminating a lot of information. So if you wanted to draw these like magnitude charts of cultural influence, he's got a huge amount of influence. And then you look at like a writer for The Witcher, it's actually not as much as you think. You think like, oh, they're on TV, it must be something big. It's like, it's not thinking of TV, like this is TV, but there's like 100 people who'll see the video. It's our little tiny little community of people who are interacting with this video, where like the Quartering's got orders of magnitude larger, and The Witcher does also, but it's like the difference between The Witcher and the Quartering, it's probably not that. It's not that different. It's just there's like an air of legitimacy, something coming from Amazon and Netflix and that kind of streaming stuff, even though, I mean, those people are a bunch of freaking weirdos. Anyway, so it was weird that she responded to him unless the show needed some eyeballs on it, because probing fire and like having blood sports, even in this mild milquetoast way, brings attention to both sides. And this Witcher, which, I'd never seen before, no interest in seeing, it's like it can conceivably get more eyeballs on the show, which is good for the show, and it gets eyeballs on Jeremy. So it's like the goal of that probing fire is just to bring YouTube attention, and also her response to it is bring attention to The Witcher, which I couldn't understand if the reviews were good. Now, 76 from an audience score, I don't know, that's kind of just an okay review. So I'm not quite that like the score is one thing, but also the number of people watching it is the real score. That's really the only thing that matters. Oh, I'm sure they're not going to race swap the characters. I'm sure it'll follow the book or at least follow the video game. And it's like, and then it comes out, oh, it's a bunch of Africans instead of Slavic people. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's not like the Polish people have not been marginalized and oppressed for the past few hundred years. That's fine. That's fine. We can just step on them further and substitute another group into a Polish story. It's like, you could just tell an African story, as I made that video about last night. But no, we're going to substitute. It's not about making stories. It's about the humiliation ritual. This is a narrative. It's not even about money so much, which blows a lot of people's tits off. So how it started was the quartering, I don't know his real name. Oh, Jeremy. He made a very mild criticism. He says Henry Cavill's been totally wasted on I'm sure there's a bunch of chicks who are watching Henry Cavill just because he's Henry Cavill. Totally wasted on the show. He continues to play a second or third fiddle on his own show because, well, Netflix. Yeah, isn't Netflix the group that had cuties? So, I mean, really, if you're watching this stuff, I'm not going to say you should go be sailing the high seas. Yeah, I guess I am saying that. Don't pay for it. Don't support these people in any way. The writers are so obsessed to force these strong, independent women who don't need no man, they ignore why most of us wanted to watch. Okay, so he's, obviously he's a master at trolling. He figures, if I can get somebody from the show to respond to this, it's probably worth $67,000 to me. And credit to him, he got a response. Oh, and then he follows up. Don't get me wrong, I liked some of the characters. They've got too much screen time. Season 2 was a slight improvement. I think Season 1 got better reviews. Anyway, but aren't they up to Season 3 now? Anyway, so she responds to this probing fire, which is like, there's no reason that you should, if you're in the catbird seat, don't respond unless you really, really want to respond. Like, let it percolate a bit, or unless it's going to help the show, which I guess it probably will help the show, because I'm assuming the ratings could always use a little bit of an improvement. And if people go watch the show for an episode or two just to check it out, well, any more eyeballs on your project is going to be good. So Lauren S. Hissrich says, actually, I'm the strong, independent woman you're looking to blame for your sadness. He's just criticizing a show that you have to subscribe to pay for. It's a weird flex when you're involved with thousands of people who are selling this product, and then you get on social media and you patronize the people who are criticizing your show. That's like, this is a curious lack of self-awareness for these people, that they don't see how they're perceived, how smarmy and pretentious and patronizing they come across. This comes across as gross. And immediately, predictably, she gets a lot of soy boys and cat ladies who back her up, who are suddenly absolute fans of The Witcher. I'm sure it has its fans, but I mean, it's like, okay, so it's a Polish story without Polish people in it. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, use some English actors, at least people who look vaguely, they look like they could fit the Lord of the Rings, central casting. Like, no, we're gonna get. Holy shit, these people are in the movie. Oh my God, that's a bit. I hope there's no hot words. Okay, this is a Renegade Tribune. This is like I don't know exactly how to describe it. I guess it's a right of center review site or media site, but they say some politically incorrect things, which I will not scroll down to reveal because I can see it's beneath this. So yeah, this is just ridiculous. I mean, if you want to set an African story, just go set an African. Like I said, do a Shaka Zulu story, or do something about set in Central Africa. There's a lot of land in which to set a story. You could film something over there, and you could use like actual native Africans they would all be part of the same tribe. They would look like they fit in. Like these people, like none of these people are the same tribe. These people are all from four very distinct tribes. It's ridiculous when Hollywood does this. They did this in, what was that Stephen King movie, The Gunslinger? The movie, not the book. They did that in the movie, where they go to this town, and there's like a Chinese lady with an African lady, and there's a bunch of all these mixed race couples, and you're like, oh, so this is like, must be a new town with all these people who just met each other and decided to all marry. So they all intermixed and they all founded this town. And you happen to catch them right at the beginning where they all moved in together. It doesn't make sense because when different tribes mix together after several hundred years, their offspring are all going to look alike. You actually destroy the genetic diversity and you form this new thing where they all just molded together to look like this new thing, and you've lost the original genetic diversity forever, which is, I mean, it's its own tragedy. But for a movie, it destroys the willing suspension of disbelief. You're like, oh, how long have you guys been in this town? Because like this is a first generation of all these different races of people who all happen to not have any in-group preferences and all date outside their own group. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's Hollywood. It makes sense in Hollywood when you do this. And then, oh God, what was that other Stephen King movie? The sequel to the book, The Shining. I forget the sequel. The book was stupid and the movie's even stupider. It's like, oh, these characters are already established in The Shining, the book, and then the movie, which I think was in the 80s or the 70s. And then they did a sequel movie. It's like, oh, wait, this is a little black girl in the movie? The characters have already been established. None of this makes sense. Oh, it's Hollywood. Well, how well did that do? There's another article that I did on my second channel, and as soon as I uploaded it, Zach uploaded this video that was based on the same article also. Oh, bad gateway. That's great. Let's refresh that. And I'm going to do another more detailed... Nope, I guess my Wi-Fi is dead. I'm going to do another more detailed video on that tomorrow. It's on this whole thing with Hollywood of... if you're a white actor in Hollywood now, you're noticing that you're being discriminated against. You're not going to get the roles that you originally signed up, that you got in Hollywood. Think, oh, it's going to be a fair and equitable division. It's like, no. Even when they did the casting for The Witcher, it's like they deliberately cast non-European origin actors. It's like for a Polish story. That's really weird. You would think you would focus on it, Polish or at least Eastern European actors, to give them the chance. I mean, ethnically, like in her excuse, she goes, oh, well, one of them was born in Europe. It doesn't matter. A horse can be born in a pigsty. It doesn't make it a pig. It's still a horse. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.